But you will never ever, in these streets of earth and elsewhere, ever get a man that will thoroughly understand you comprehensively like a hand to a glove, the way that a woman gets another woman. Similarly too, we will never understand men the way that men get men. That's why they've got their own little bromances. They have each other to comfort one another and raise each other up in the admonition of the Lord. They got each other to sharpen one another. They need one another as men, in the same way that we need each other as women. We have each other to relate and be compassionate towards, therefore, in ways that no man can ever be there for us. So, right next to your doting husband, it is healthy for you to have godly female friends with whom you can exchange notes about the sorrow of what it is that is basically are the challenges of dealing with the opposite sex. Iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. But when you smooch, make out, and touch the nether regions of a person of the same gender, you put yourself in a position to expect unrealistically so from the opposite gender, when you do repent, that which you can never get from them, that you got from the same sex, you will never be the same again. It's what I'm getting at. When you experiment with lesbianism, you will be gotten by a woman in a way that a man just won't, and you will think it's love. Yeah, it is. It's a sister man's. The same way that you are to be having a good, strong relationship with your best friend. It's not supposed to be romantic. It is supposed to be friendly, collegial, at least, and friendly at most. So, therefore, when you add romantic feelings to it, you pervert a healthy fellowship between sisters to help us cope with the woes of life, issues of life, and you try to impose that on men. They will never get you the way that we get each other. It's a reality, so stop trying to make them understand it. It is the curse. We fell at Adam and Eve's fall. So therefore there is always going to be this groove between us. The reconciliation, the bridge is Jesus. And he tells us, wear understanding, get your fellow man. If it is possible, live at peace. Wear sobriety, character. In your anger, do not sin, do not let the sun go down in your wrath. Love your wives the way that Christ loved the church, and women respect your husbands. Submit under them. This is what is pleasing in the sight of God. Let your yes be yes, no be no, everything else is just evil. Proper. Run with the scriptures. Recognize that there is no perfect fellowship between mankind on earth before the rapture, before we are perfected in the resurrection. So therefore, whatever nuances of issue that we have down here in these streets prior to the resurrection, it is within our prerogative to work on them. Do you understand what I'm saying? That we might live at peace with our fellow man, albeit not having perfect fellowship. That's how this works. Lesbian, people dumb. People gay. Go for that, like people dumb. Yeah, people don't, and I resent that I had to address this issue because I really don't like it. There was a day when I was just bombarded. I haven't been recording very much, but there was a day that I was bombarded with just these lesbian attacks, and I'm like, I had a boyfriend that was effeminate. I didn't like him because I'm not attracted to girls. He could not make his manhood work because he was gay. If I could not be with a closet homosexual, that guy was effeminate. Like proper, like memory glands and everything. But what am I gonna do with your soft facial features? What am I gonna do with your lack of facial hair? What am I gonna do with these single style braids? I told you I don't like hair on men. So I'm the only one that gets to wear a weave. I'm sorry. Like proper. I'm a pretty girl. I've been beautiful pretty much all my life. So essentially, how guys? You always looking at other pretty chicks on some. Does she look better than me? Is she taller? Does she have better skin? Who's in the life of beautiful women? I am too much of I size up other women type chick to be with one romantically. It's like being with a guy. A man that can't just be man enough to support you. It's gonna turn out to be like Ike. Turner. Girl, you know I don't play eat the cake anime. That's what happens when a man is competing with you because he has neglected his manhood at the door. And so for those reasons, he are literally despising a woman's talents. I quite healthy relationship. You've been with men, you know how bad it is. Manje di cherry to yo guys la force la hesha. The cherry to who inevitable hormone, who inevitable look at naked how and then look at my barik and realize your skin is better than mine. I guess I pimple when your skin is actually clear like a glass. You look like a Korean model. And Even though you can already feelings emotionally all up in your grill, romantically somehow can manufacture like a lesbian. Your skin is still always going to make me spaz. It's always going to make me twitch or something. Why don't I have that skin? Why don't I have glass skin like a Korean girl? Why don't I have no stretch muscle on my bum? I probably am not going to be competing with my man's thick thigh muscles if he has them. While I am out here walking around ka jelly, walking around ka bu squishy bu cellulite babu cherry, I'm not gonna look at my buff, bulky, incredible Hulk husband. I will not be looking at my incredible Hulk husband that looks like Adonis or dulang a gym and covered his muscles. Mara, understand that when a cherry that works out so hard that your natural body looks like it's got a BBL, I will always look at you like, why me I not go have that booty? I won't see it. Why not I go have me clear skin? Why I go have to acne? My girlfriend got it. I have to exercise self-control over Mona concerning women. I have to seek the Lord's face for grace to not out to be coveting my neighbor's perky breasts. I am out here literally having to work really hard to not covet my neighbor's better legs than me. A chick that's got better hair, that's thicker, richer, blacker, a younger woman that actually is sporting more collagen. I gotta exercise self-control to not covet my neighbor's oxen. Now when my neighbor is my boyfriend, but it's my girl, a single scar. When I've got a scar on my leg, I can deal with a muscular husband. Nike so be good to me for months. But I cannot deal with a taut-toned woman when I'm looking at my cellulite on my thighs, on the mirror, in the morning. It's always just going to give, but why is your body better than mine? Why? Why do I have this scar? And why do I have acne on my cheeks? Because you be actually looking like a porcelain doll. I mean, funny. I am too competitive and jealous of women to be with one. It's not a healthy relationship and it's unnatural. You also cannot give me, like I said, babies. I will never be so bitter as to want to squish a woman's boobs, cup them in my hand, and think that it's a man's six-pack. It'll never happen. Trying to advance women into Sodom. Y'all need to chill. You are unnatural. That's why you need Donald Trump to go and eliminate trans athletes in the women's football team. Cause la bored. In the women's volleyball team, so in the women's swimming team, you need somebody that's gonna tell you where to get off. Cause this woke movement, it's trying to make perfectly sober women that are happy seeing as they lack protection, so they need indoor that's going to rock up that blanket. They are trying to get women like these to think that there are blankets, plenty of them to go around on Venus. I don't want a Venetian blanket. I want the Martian blanket. I proper do, because it's the only one that covers Venetians. Yeah. I spoke for hours. I don't know how long. Right now it's 15 minutes past 10. I started speaking last night. But I feel like I've gotten everything I need out the way. Moral of the story, basically the conclusion of this whole topic is alright? Women, if you don't walk in your function, you will be frustrated later on. If you think you can detour into lesbianism because men frass you, you will only find yourself longing for a Martian blanket on Venus. Because Papa, nothing covers the cold of a woman better than a man. And if you don't want to deal with that being a fact, you're going to be left out on a limb. When you get older, the only way to eradicate bitterness as you're waiting for a husband is to literally do just that. Wait on the Lord for a husband, to bring him along even though you are, like I said, at the very bottom of the packet, daddy bullets, Simba chips. You are the last one to get devoured because you are properly built for no other purpose but to be devoured by men. This that last is bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. He even called you by edible, what is this, pronouns. That's why guys be out here calling you side pieces. That's why they be out here calling you main dishes. That's why they be out here calling you vanilla or chocolate depending on your skin tone. It's because women, you are thoroughly edible. Do you understand? You are there for the devouring of men. It's that basic. However, the devouring can all be ensconced within the protection of God when you are married. A married man knows that he can only put you on his plate as the lineage. A godless man, and then leave you as Matamboga, Kentucky, that have been chewed and spat out on a plate for someone that you to come and pick up scraps. That's very bitter later on in life until you become a lesbian that is being chewed yet again as Masapoa, Kentucky by a woman that is never ever going to satisfy you the way that a man can. The naive couple lesbian is so drunk with cherry. I don't even know how you guys get intimate because Papa, you've got too many innies for anything to give over there. Mara le facile perverted, so they make it possible for you to actually be getting intimate. I don't know how it works, but I'm not prepared to experiment. What is imperative to gauge, however, is that men are important, and their importance will be felt and richly respected and appreciated insofar as the importance of women is also adhered to. Submit, honor your God-ordained role, and a man will not feel it necessary to, in his passive aggression, handle you by not loving you, and so make you a bitter broad that's out to turn into lesbianism. Verstaan? Hallo ka, khoshu ba strutting. If you turn over to the corner of lesbianism or of bitterness against men until you literally think that by fighting them and calling them rubbish and nonsense, that you're gonna achieve change. The curse on Adam was to lord it over you with an iron fist, while ours is to love men even to the point of uksanya and ending up at Arkham Asylum. Only way to avoid Arkham Asylum or to get parole from Arkham Asylum is to admit that you have been created for no one else but men, to be his helper suitable, and you are therefore his devouring. He is to name you, for he is responsible like a dad over a child, to steward you. His is to protect you, love you, care for you, cater to all of your needs. And in exchange, you just gotta be docile and submit. It is, however, very violently rough to submit to a guy whilst omjane oling weak. So you will be androgynous and butch when you've got a man that is too weak for you. You will try to make him stronger, and in so trying to make him stronger, he will feel like you are taking over his authority, and so therefore at some point he will passive-aggressively take it out on you when he does become strong by withholding affection from you now that he's making money, now that he is strengthening himself socio-economically. So stop embarking on strange projects to panel beat weak men. Leave the scrubs alone to build themselves until they stop being scrubs, and then only they can leave their mother and father, cleave to wives, and then the two of them become one flesh. My ex did that swimmingly with some weak woman that didn't want him when he had no money, out here ditching and treating like trash. The ride or die, do you understand? That was there for him in a time of weakness, but because Nang Faraz, like his lack of ambition, I was out here raising it time and time again, and the way that he paid me back was to marry the woman he was out here literally cheating on me with when we were together. And then, the same woman, when he had nothing, throwing in my face all the work that I put in him to juice him up that he might be the kind of man that other women want. Besa ayochata, side piece. Next. Do you get me? That is what is the moral of the story. Stop panel beating men, because you will be inclined within yourself to dominate and be bossy when he is not at your level. Wait for a ready-made man. It'll be easier for you to submit underneath him and to be therefore a helper suitable, wind beneath his wings, and for him to trust your stewarding of his manhood in the relationship so that he doesn't feel emasculated by you. If, however, you are too strong for indoda, everybody on wapana, and it's not going to be pretty. You are going to literally have a man date you for 20 years and then marry some fluffy female after 2 months of meeting him, her. So also, when a man is not manly to you, it's not that he cannot be manly or neither has capacity to be manly to anyone. They've been built to be manly, that's it. It's their ontological makeup. So therefore, they can be a butch little spelke Hercules to some female out here in these weak streets of South Africa. However, to you, uhiye, to you walenga, to you uyadengla lumuntu. Yeah. Only because Obuch was strong, Ugoba lazy, and swing like Papa as a door turns on his hinges, so too does a lazy man turn on his bed. Ugoba Tswafa on you, because Uga Sebeletang when you're taking on the reins in the streets. But to some women that's Ajahn sound, oh, I can't breathe, it's so hot in here. He is suddenly going to be more manly to her than he ever was to you, and that's gonna make you, hashtag, let's sing it now, bitter. I was your lover and your secretary, working every day of the week. Dipinatako waiting to exhale all manner and kinds of ugly songs, to speak of all your bitterness while you are out here, punching in the windows and keying the cars of some men. You are determined to make them stronger. And wait on the Lord for cookies that have been nicely baked, still fresh out of the oven, ready to eat. Because I kid you not, a project boyfriend will passive-aggressively harass you when he starts making money. Like clockwork, it happens. A I've done my time at Danyani and now I'm on parole. So because I'm on parole, I'm a bit of an activist in prisons, trying to get women to get out. Stop wearing so much wrath and anger, thinking it's going to change amadota and then caucusing together. Little was 7 about how to radish. A little winner. Submit. Mara, you can't submit to indota a week. So make sure ukuthi lo muntu also submit that to yena. Uziphethe arrived. He is there. Ufihli. Because I kid you not, kuzoba nzima. Submit that to indota esa drive bicycle when you've got a car. Look. Just know, ukungajoli rough noma umuntu acute ama-dimples akaza be out looking like Tupac. Relax. Tupac uyakhula at some point. Clarence Tate uyakhula. Ngisebenzisa amadoda that back in the day used to make me go crazy. Wahola from being a boy and then they become men. And when they're men, they become so much more attractive. When they are just sporting grey beards, they are out here being a lot more mature and so therefore a lot more respectable. And if no Tupac wakhona, the Lord gave him Dijana. The Lord gave him Dijana to stay single and build character. Uzoba a handsome looking older version of his 20-something self that however is far better able to be in daughter to a woman. Ukampani wa emela boyfriend ya how that you would have dated when you were 22. Ngameni wa mela abe 40 before you will start courting and then get married. Then date the 23-year-old version, the 24-year-old version that you're going to be pumping ngare or what is this moya muharamadari bicycle for a movie and uzokuzondela, like I said, the very thing that you did to build him up. And then he will marry a cherry that you thought never will a man be so naive as to marry a woman or a thing when he was in high school and she didn't want him because he was scrawny and had nothing. I never, even though this chick had a crush on him, I never I was so dumb as to make a cherry that looked at him chewing bubble gum on some why are you talking? I'm not trying to get with any of that. You ain't got nothing. What you gonna do for me? I'm a Paul, and this guy, you would think Woody would never be so dumb as to now that he is a millionaire, he is a self-made entrepreneur at the age of 29. You would never think that this guy would go Ayolanda, the same chick from high school, and marry her. They literally marry women that rejected them when they had nothing. So stop panel beating men, cause I kid you not, utlo akela musadi omungu munna. And munna wating utlo nyala the very cherry that you never imagined he would ever touch, cause you broke my heart when I had nothing, girl. Mungang funi, uzo muchata, lo slay queen. You don't wanna be the raro that o akileng munna ere munna atlo nyala cherry that you nyatsad. Cause she wasn't strong enough to stick by a man on Naluto. Burning a hole into the soles of your shoes with hydrochloric acid from your spit. And say, this is my kind of lady. Oh, kiakona motokomela. Oh, watlhaloganya bonna baka. Oh, wang respecta. Oh, wasubmita. Oh, hanabu bungata mohabubi. She does not rap on too much and she just spends my money. And they will equate the silence of a woman that is quietly enjoying a man's money with submission. They will not see it as boshelo. Botutzing cause waja and oja kota. Utletika mafura momolomo. Otobo tutzimus. Anarota robuajwang ona dijo momolomo. That's why these women, body slave queen batuzo and these men, they appear submissive. They appear submissive, but that's only because why wouldn't you appear submissive? Only kota momolomo. Ututzimus girl. Cause waja. Utletika magwenya momolomo. Waja, so otula. Batulile, aba complain about indoteng na mali. Trigger his feet that's struggling to make ends meet. Baja kota. Bagore nga prawns. Horota mafura. Mole ramen. So utulile. Gyatula mantliwa. Abantu makhwayegile. And they are out here eating crab. Bamu. Khwatuliwa cause everybody is satiating hunger. That quietness is overestimated as submission. In men abenamali, basari baba patalang kitsila tsabona. Banano banale submission until babona umoto udulanza jali kota fela wanona haya haona ntungu engwe aikenyang mo equationing mo. And then they come and they bore you. So tlogelang ho panel bitabanna le tlo lemala. They will leave you for slay queens basala ba likot and so batuli. And wait for a ready-made man because they're much easier to submit to. and recognize your role and your function as a woman enough to respect that against qualms, it is just more responsible to let the natural course of a man run itself without you trying to interrupt its process. It's just easier to let them grow on their own. Like Papa, it's just easier. And then be ride or die, supportive and faithful. And typically a woman, give him 20 babies, bake, cook, read, entertain, laugh, cry, whine, do what a woman does, sing, whatever, but gladly submit. And you will not endure the terrorizing misogyny of men who take it out on the strength of women to withhold affection by just being super crazy mean. Because they know that you need love, and if they don't give it to you, it's gonna get to you until you end up in a mental asylum. Get yourselves on parole, early release, anything. But leave jail. The only reason Mislanya overbanna basadi is because you are trying to knock holes or nails into them panel beating vibes. You are trying to fix. Don't. We are helper suitables. We are not fixers. We enable men to get built, but willingly with them soaring as birds. We are support structures. Connective tissue. We are not the main, like, musculus. We are connective tissue to muscle. They're the locomotive. Like, just let them move. The car. Let them move it. Because if you move it, you are enabling a muscular dystrophy so exquisite that it will come back and bite you in the behind with passive aggression. And you will also lose your affections for a man who, in retaliating against how bossy he feels you are, stops being a man. You will desire to build him into a stronger man, but he will become a lazy man because you're just so strong. So he will go from pulling in favors for you, calling this whole Johannesburg to have your back, to angaholi namang namali, what do you expect me to do? He will send one of these boys that, upon having a crush on you, will passive aggressively feel upset that I'm not getting anything out of this. And yet this boy has sent me to come and pick up immediate corner that I'm low-key spazzing on. You will be cast lots for your garments like Christ when he died, amidst crazy little worldly men. If you don't just wait for indotanje, eling strong, eling beef, eling oki, emudimu amo achetseng just you, that also in his godliness is not going to, like I said, surprise you ka isitemu 15 years into your marriage. Just make like a flower and bloom, nyimeni. And even though you're 40 like K, literally rather be the last little chippy in the packet that somebody is out there grabbing to devour, because at least you are getting taken by umuntu on patience yokudla that small little chippy at the bottom. Because if you're low-hanging fruit or are the uppermost thing to get picked, you're gonna inevitably end up a middle-aged bitter broad that is counseling young women to basically pass off amadota, and they will then turn around and say, please, they're not all the same, and then enjoy the same cycle of crazy, because they will not change their minds about how to deal with human rebellion, and also as it pertains to the genders. That's the moral of the story. Wait on the Lord if you don't want institutionalizing insanity to creep into your bones as a woman. Anymore, because I've learned a lesson. I'm a parolee. I don't know about you. I'm a felon. I'm an ex-con. I don't know about you. Kitswatsanya netoronko mebang boshile. Nekele muraho ati baz. But I'm free. I was in rehab. But I'm clean now. I'm sober. It's been a couple of months since my last drink. Akisatsuba matekwani. Akisaitlanta overbanna. Sekibona hore. Ha ang push up back ang pasa reverse psychology shade. Because indoda that comes from God is going to lovingly pursue me without playing mind games. It's dwelling in reverse psychology. Don't pursue men, they are to pursue you. And do not, when you put yourself on the threshing floor of a man, upon him being arrogant, that you made like Ruth and made it clear that you like him. When he then acts that arrogantly, instantly write him off. Because if he does not see it fit to pursue you, necessity ya importance ya regret you are on a shelf ready to be taken by anyone. Abone the pertinence of indaba yokuthi you're not indefinitely going to be sitting there. Akabone how important it is for him to make haste and remove you off the shelf lest somebody else should take you, and so therefore he is not afraid to lose you. He is playing games. Indoda enjalo ayithembeki. So a man must lovingly pursue you the way that Christ loved the church. Like that 10 years in advance of you embracing him. Kwameluazi that the moment you turn your face to look at a man that albeit initially having not wanted to be with him, akazoknikeza shade uzokuthatha immediately. The way that Christ will embrace you as soon as you embrace him. But for 10 years, he's not gonna suddenly start looking to the side, giving you a side profile imperfect like Khloe Kardashian, and hoping that come on so I really like you, but you've been staring at me in the lecture hall. I mean, you clearly made it evident that you liked me, and now that I want you, should be like a side profile imperfect like Khloe Kardashian? No, that's all love, honey. A man should be stoked that you finally responded to his advances. If he doesn't evidence that he is stoked, and he does not love the way that Christ loved the church, and you have no business hanging out with that bugger. Understand? Get out of Arkham Asylum. Stop longing for Lerato so much that you will let a man that's playing games with you who clearly likes you stick around to out here continue to confuse you as to, does he love me? I wanna know. How could I tell if he loves me so? Is it in his eyes? Oh no, you won't believe. Is it in his eyes? Oh no, you won't believe if you wanna know if he loves me so. It's in his keys. That's where it is. So he's just gonna wanna touch and grope and fill you up because I get no respect for your boundaries as a Christian woman. How do you get into sex before marriage? He's out here burdening you with passions like Janus and Jambres. Does he love me? You should just know. Because the moment you appropriately respond to his advances, he should be like, yo, she said yes, and just go in for the kill. If he doesn't go in for the kill, he's not like Christ, and so he's not a Christian. And so therefore you have no business accommodating. For start, I'm not supposed to play games. When they're in Christ, they are taught to be intentionally loving of women. When a guy is beating around the bush, drawing circles on the floor, after having given you signs that he likes you, he's not a man. Not man enough to be godly. Not man enough to be like the second Adam. He is just yet another one of these boy toys that are gonna string you along and that enjoy making a woman that they are besotted with feel like he's not all that into you. Proper. Let go. Swang mobona. Mutlogele muzibe mupase shade. Udomoribe psychology. That, my dear ladies, is the moral of today's story. Let men be men and wait for the ones that love God, because then they will also sweep you off your feet by loving you so much before you love them that you will do nothing but serve them for the rest of your days willingly in submission. Do you understand? Just because they loved you so much at first. That's a godly man. Emelangi Thang Liloban nicely surprised pleasantly upon being released from, Danyani. Don't say I didn't warn you. I'm sending out in Christ's name, Krenke. Peace. Yeah.